Step 1, read the question. Here it is. Question says, how much money did Rebecca initially have in her savings account? Everyone, that's a key word right there, initially. When we're talking about how much you have initially, how much was initially there, what are we talking about? What are we discussing? Right, something that you already have. And another way to say it, Eros and Alba, what you have in the beginning. That's what we're asking for. When you're asking for what was initially there, we're asking for what was there in the beginning. So with that said, boom, let's go ahead and write out the y equals mx plus b. And first, I'm going to prove to you that this is going to be necessary for this question. So again, here is the beginning amount. This is what we're going for. Let me actually use red to be consistent. We want the beginning amount. Right there. Boom. So there we are. Everybody, yes or no, do we agree? The initial or initially, how much we initially have represents what's there in the beginning. Excellent. Sounds great. Now, here we go. Next step, before we get to work and action on the y equals mx plus b, let me show you how I know that this is necessary. Again, everybody, what do we say? We need a beginning amount, which is what we're looking for. We also need what other two things to know that it's y equals mx plus b? What are the other two? An end amount, Evelyn, that's correct. And we also need a rate. Evelyn, Thomas, thank you guys, appreciate that. Yes, if you have a beginning amount, ending amount, and a rate, you know you're dealing with y equals mx plus b. Watch this. And so, whether this is your first or 50th YouTube video of mine, it doesn't matter. Why don't you join me for a live class? That way you can ask questions, raise your score, and get the job you want for free. Again, I host classes once a week on Zoom, typically on Mondays. So go ahead and click the link up there, down here somewhere, register for free, and you get my free practice test that has video solutions so you can learn from every mistake. That's what it's all about here, my party people. I want to help you succeed, so don't hesitate. Sign up for free, and then let's get back to this problem here. Let's keep raising our scores. We're looking for the beginning amount. Rebecca has been spending $80 per week. That's your rate. And then it says to meet her spending needs, after 13 weeks, a time period, she sees that her savings balance is a result of $400. So everybody, are the ingredients there for y equals mx plus b? We saw the rate, we saw a time, we saw the result that we get to, and we're looking for the beginning amount. What more can you ask for? You have all the ingredients, you know what you need. Let's get to work. Here we go. So, Jennifer, I got you. Again, it takes patience. You have to give yourself that chance to really immerse yourself in the information. A lot of you guys are way smarter than you give yourself credit for. So, let's go ahead and just give yourself that time. So, here we go. First things first, Rebecca has been spending. Keywords here. Spending, I've been using purple for rate, so let's be consistent. Spending $80 per week. My party people, there's our rate. But what was the one thing I told you to be careful about when it came to writing the number for the rate down or the beginning amount? What was that one thing I told you to be careful about? What was that one thing? Right. We have to take into account whether this is going to be a negative or a positive value for that rate. Remember, if what your rate does is it adds on to what you have, it is a positive rate. If it takes away from what you have, it is a negative rate. Everyone, we're talking about how much money Rebecca has. We're talking about how much money Rebecca has. So from that initial amount that she has, if she's spending $80 per week, is that going to be adding to her savings or taking away from her savings? Right, it's taking away. So what conclusion do we draw from that, everybody? What's the conclusion? That 80 that we write down, should it be positive? Should it be negative? Which one should it be? Right, it's going to be negative 80. You guys, yes, 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 yes. That's what growth looks like. Great job, guys. So here we go. This M right over here, this M is going to be negative 80. Negative 80. So let's write down that equal sign. So there's one piece right there. Now, next up, it says here 13 weeks. So it says $80 per week, 13 weeks. That's uniform. We don't have a problem here. If we saw $80 per week and then it says 13 days, very big problem. You need to have the same units for the time. So here we're fine, nothing to worry about, but just giving you that warning for future reference in case we do run into that in a certain problem. Maybe in today's class, I don't know. So here we go. This is going to be your X value, 13 weeks. Right there. And so it's going to be negative 80 times 13. We're looking for that beginning amount, so we'll just write that right there. And then up next, we need to know what the ending amount is. And that's right here. That says, after the 13 weeks, the resulting amount is $400. It doesn't say that at all, but that's how I interpreted it. It's saying after 13 weeks, this is where we are. So there's your result. We have that right there. Boom. Everybody, does that make sense? Like it says, after 13 weeks, here's where we are. So that has to be the result. That has to be where we currently are. And so there we are. $400 is that result. Boom. So zoom on in. Let's make it click. But right on, Aman. Hey, no worries. I got you. So everyone, this was phase one. This was translating the English into math. So how are we feeling about this? Do we feel like we can do a better job at that now, translating the English into math, knowing what we need to make this happen? Sweet. Now let's get into phase two. Phase two, and again, a kind of is better than struggling before. So keep up the good work, keep trying. Now phase two, performing the math, calculating, solving the equation. Here we go. We know that we're trying to solve for b. So let's understand what needs to be done. We see that we have negative 80 times 13. So let's go ahead and take care of that here on the side. Here we go. We have negative 80 times 13. So we'll just do 80 times 13 and then account for that negative later. 0 multiplied by 3. 8 multiplied by 3 is 24. We'll go off to the next line here, account for that 1. We go ahead and have 0 times 1. 8 multiplied by 1. Add this back together. And we have 1040. Everybody, that's going to be negative 1040. Rosalind, thanks for jumping in there right there. Yep, that's going to be negative 1040 because we have a negative multiplied by a positive. And if at this point you're getting a little anxious about working with these numbers, boom, that's a point of improvement for yourself. Take that as your body telling you naturally what you're bad at so you can improve. I know that your biggest goal while going through this practice test is understanding the questions that you do. You know, I said it before, you don't want to memorize questions and hope for the best. That's why after this practice test, it's so important that you get into my full program because you'll be able to access a dashboard like this and be able to have resources for every single math idea from the very beginning to the very end, being able to take practice tests that are timed to guarantee that you mastered that topic. So check that out after you're done with this practice test and let's ace the ASVAB. Here we are. And so everybody, to get the answer here, to forget what b, the beginning amount, is, look at it like this. You see that you're at $400 now. You have spent $1,040 to get to that point. If you want to work backwards to figure out what you had in the beginning, take that away. Add 1,040. That is already saying minus 1040. So add 1040 to both sides. Right over here. Add 1040 to both sides. Again, stay specific there in the way that you talk about it. That's going to cancel here on the right side, giving us $1,440 in the beginning. And there we are. And let me move this down ever so slightly because I understand that that is in the way of the work. And there we are. Boom. That would be answer choice D. And now that you're done with the video, we have our full program for free for a full week, no credit card required. I want you to get access to all of the live classes, practice problems, and support every step of the way. And I'm here to prove it to you. Go ahead, text trial to 833-321-0182, and you're good to go.